Welcome to St. Paul's Cathedral Deanery, my home, for this week's Bible talk. My name is Dean Andreas, and I moonlight as the Chief Props Officer at these talks. Chief Bible Talker Hella and Chief Prop Archie are still on holiday this week. That means I'm doing the talking today and not the propping. After last week's success with the time machine function on my laptop, I thought I'd invite another Bible friend along to our talk. He traveled all across the Mediterranean Sea. He was a keen letter writer, telling people about Jesus and how we can be Jesus's friends. Can you guess who he is? That's right. His name is St. Paul. Let's try that time machine function again and call him on Zoom. How wonderful to be able to talk with you. Our cathedral is named after you, St. Paul, so I think about you often. You've had a couple of names and you also are a saint. So tell us first of all what I should call you.
Well, hello, Andreas. It's great that your cathedral is named after me. You can simply call me Paul because we're all saints. I talk about that in my writings. My parents named me Saul. After Jesus, my name was changed from Saul to Paul.
Thank you, Paul. Can you tell us a little bit about that meeting with Jesus? Because you went blind, didn't you, when you met him?
At the time, I was tracking down followers of Jesus. And as I was traveling on the road to Damascus, I was suddenly stopped in my tracks by a bright light. And I believed the risen Jesus appeared to me. Jesus told me that I should stop hurting his friends. I went totally blind for 3 days.
What was that like, Paul?
Simply terrifying. I needed to see for my work. I made sun sails and tents, which involves a fair bit of sewing. I also do a lot of writing, so I thought this would be the end of my work. But a friend of Jesus led me to Damascus and put me up at his home.
And what happened when you were able to see again, Paul?
Another friend or follower of Jesus came and prayed for me, and I was healed. And I was so relieved and happy. And then I returned to Jerusalem and met many other friends of Jesus. I even met some members of his original family.
That's amazing. And it was in Jerusalem, wasn't it, that you got in trouble as well?
Yes, I was arrested because I was telling people about Jesus, how he was God's son, that he's the firstborn of all who are raised from the dead, and that if we believe in him, we share in God's life.
Why were you arrested? Isn't that good news that Jesus overcame death?
You remember how I used to be angry with those who followed Jesus? In Jerusalem, there were many who were angry with Jesus' followers, just like I used to be. They arrested me and wanted to kill me, but I told the Roman soldiers who arrested me that I was a Roman citizen, and so they took me to Rome.
And is that the city that we can see in the background?
Yes, that's Rome. They have nice coffee here.
Oh, we've got nice coffee in Melbourne, we believe.
Oh, very good. In Rome, I hope to establish a church, and I told people across the whole Roman Empire about Jesus, and many people became his followers.
So how did you end up in Rome?
I ended up in Rome after many adventures. 5 times I was whipped. 3 times I was beaten with rods. Once I was pelted with stones. 3 times I was shipwrecked, and I spent a whole night and day in the open sea.
And was that the end of your adventures?
Well, not at all. I was under house arrest in Rome, waiting for a trial date.
You were imprisoned?
Yes, a kind of imprisonment, but I was at home in chains. You remember the recent lockdown period?
Yeah.
House arrest is a bit like that. You can't go out. Soldiers from the Praetorian Guard made sure that I didn't go out.
Wow, those are elite soldiers, aren't they? Were they harsh guards?
I got really friendly with them and told them about Jesus. And they weren't able to set me free, but I think at the end, they shared a greater freedom, the freedom of knowing Jesus. And that freedom is greater than anything. I wrote about that freedom in my letters.
Well, we have your letters still, and we can read them in the Bible. And that way we can find out more about your becoming a friend of Jesus and what it means for us today to follow Jesus, how we can be Jesus's friends, and how we can tell other people about the good news of Jesus. Thanks so much, St. Paul, for coming online today.
Thank you, Andreas, and it's been great to talk to you and the saints at my cathedral in Melbourne.
A real pleasure. It's been amazing to talk with you in person today. Enjoy that Roman coffee.
Bye for now.
That's it for today, kids. See you next week. I'll be in charge of props again then, and Heather will do most of the talking. I'll be dusting off the cathedral fire extinguisher before next week, just in case. It's been a pleasure to Bible talk with you. Bye-bye. Record on this computer. We are recording.
You can say thank you to God that he made the world and that he loves us, that he sent Jesus to die and rise again. You can say sorry because we need to be washed from the sins, and Jesus' death and resurrection achieved that. And then you can say, please come into my life and help me to be a good friend of Jesus. Of course, it's always good to talk to people like you and our parents when we do this, because when we pray to God, he answers that prayer.
Well, that's really simple. Thank you, sorry, and please. Please come into our lives. Thank you. That worked really nicely. Thanks so much.